What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Happy Friday to you. I wanted to jump through most of the top alts and give some price targets as to where I think they're going. If you follow the trade alerts on the Discord, you know that we scaled into most of these during the last dip that we saw about 4 or 5 days ago. And you'll see that sometimes it's not all about Bitcoin in these bullish rallies, right? Like Bitcoin definitely is the market leader, but the other altcoins, the other top altcoins such as Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash or EOS sometimes might lead the way and drag all of the other altcoins as well as Bitcoin behind it. So if you look at the total crypto market cap, in fact, this is on TradingView. Now the number here is always about $10 billion off from what you see on CoinMarketCap. Anyway, that's not really important. But if you look at the chart, right, you see the Adam and Eve forming. You see the golden crosses between the 50 and the 100, the mini golden cross between the 100 and the 200. Now check this out. This looks identical to all of the top alts. This is Ethereum, Adam and Eve, golden crosses. Bitcoin Cash, you see the Adam and Eve pattern, golden crosses. So it's interesting to see that the total crypto market cap chart looks a lot like the altcoin charts, the top altcoin, some of the top altcoin charts. Now, Litecoin is a little bit different. And here, if you look at Litecoin on the 1 day, the reason that we started scaling into Litecoin and that, you know, I've held Litecoin at a much higher clip than some of the other altcoins is because of how drastically different the chart looks compared to other altcoins. Also, because the halving is coming up, or the halvening, however you want to define it, is coming up in August. Now, that is where the block rewards get reduced by half so that miners actually get paid less Litecoin for mining each Litecoin. And what that does is suppress the supply of Litecoin in the market. And the logical conclusion you can draw for this is, you know, if supply is dwindled but demand stays the same, or demand is even heightened, then that will increase the intrinsic price of Litecoin. So that is why Litecoin has been our biggest holding really since November 2018. Those of you who are part of the trade alerts, part of the Discord, part of the channel will know that. If you want access to the trade alerts, by the way, that link is in the description. BNB being the other one. And, you know, lo and behold, BNB also doesn't have a similar chart to those of, you know, BCH and Ethereum and the total crypto market cap. So let us jump through these real quick. I'll start with Bitcoin. Looking at Bitcoin on the 1 week, I went over this yesterday, and I'm going to jump through these pretty quickly. But looking at Bitcoin on the 1 week, you'll see that it is now above the 21-week EMA. This is the sharpest drop on the weekly that we've seen in 2019. And I went through the, you know, the previous 6 retracements during the bullish rally between 2015 and 2017 and measured each drop. So I do think there will be a drop coming of around 20 or 25% at some point. It doesn't have to be this candle, although it could be. But as long as we stay convincingly above the 21-week EMA, this bull rally should be fine in the long run. Looking at BTC on the 1 day, you'll see that we have this trend line here, and this trend line actually supports a drop or at least sideways movement for quite some time until we hit the resistance of the trend line and then potentially keep climbing as long as the resistance isn't broken. So looking at BNB is forming an almost perfect bull flag, right? This is a classic bull flag. If you look at any trading textbook or technical analysis textbook, you'll see this is how bull flags are drawn, usually with a slant, and the flag portion of it is trending downward. And, you know, for breakout traders, you can enter at the breakout of the bull flag, a positive breakout of the bull flag. Of course, again, for those of you that have been part of the trading community, know that we've been in BNB heavily since November 2018. BNB still looking bullish nonetheless. Immediate price target, midterm price target is back at $35, where we saw heavy resistance a couple weeks ago. Looking at XRP, this one is interesting. XRP is now forming what looks like a pennant. You'll see that you have the pole right here, right? And the difference between a symmetrical triangle and a pennant is that the pennant actually has a pole. But I'm going to draw this really sloppy, but you get the picture. Here is the pennant on XRP. And, you know, obviously, again, breakout traders can play the breakout of this pennant. What's interesting about XRP, it's a late bloomer in comparison to its cousins in the top alts, right? You'll see the golden cross just happened, what, a week ago, a couple weeks? No, yeah, a little over a week ago. the golden cross just happened, and we are now on the verge of the mini golden cross between the 100 and the 200 this week. So, you could play the breakout of this pennant on XRP. The immediate target for me is at around 52 cents. Looking at EOS, EOS is interesting. We did scale back into EOS at the retest of this support line that you see here, which was exactly around the 0.382 fib, also exactly around the 50-day moving average. There's hidden bullish divergence between the price and the RSI, as you see here. EOS, of course, fell from grace after their announcement. This was expected. Again, if you follow the trade alerts, we traded EOS and put in a trailing stop leading up to the announcement because there was definitely a chance, or a high chance, a likely probability that EOS would tank after the announcement. We've seen this in crypto over and over again, right? Crypto doesn't really have fundamentals in the same way that stocks do. There's no revenue, there's no sales reports, there's no earnings, there's no board of directors. They're not beholden to any shareholders of any sort. So really the only thing that drives the price in crypto is volume and hype. And once the hype is digested by the market, well, what is there to rely on at that point, right? So the news comes out, hype is digested, okay, and the price starts tanking after that because people are selling off the news announcement, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. The rumor here starts somewhere around here, saying that EOS is going to be making an announcement. And then once the news is announced, that's when it's optimal for you to sell, or at least set a trailing stop and let the market decide. Immediate targets for EOS at around 6.9 at the 0.236 fib level. I feel like it might take a little bit of effort for EOS to get to this 8.6 level where it was last week, because that was propelled by news and not purely technicals. However, it is still forming a bullish pattern. Looking at Litecoin, we went over this a bit in the beginning of the video, but you see the inverse head and shoulders, the neckline, and it is using the neckline as support, right? So once it broke above the neckline and hit support, I did send out another trade alert for Litecoin saying that, there's clear support at the neckline and it is in a bullish pattern. Obviously, all the golden crosses have already occurred on Litecoin, and the halving is coming up later in August. So, definitely bullish on Litecoin, and it is leading the way. It's leading the, it's tagging or dragging the crypto market cap along with it, right? Litecoin is up almost 20% since we started scaling in, since bouncing off of support, a lot higher than any of its top alts brethren. Looking at BCH, you'll see again the same trend, you have the golden crosses occurring over the last couple months or so. And then you have the obviously bullish Adam and Eve pattern before. BCH is now bouncing off of the 50-day moving average, forming a bullish upward trend. Very similar to some of the previous alts that we've seen. If Bitcoin Cash continues on this bullish trend, obviously barring a complete market crash, but if Bitcoin Cash completes on this bullish trend, my immediate target for Bitcoin Cash is at around $460. Looking at Ethereum, same thing. This is getting repetitive, but it's the same trend as some of the previous alts that we've seen. And the immediate target for me on Ethereum is around $280. All right, so a couple of stock trade alerts that we've recently executed. If you look at Tesla, you'll see Tesla bouncing off of a 3-year double bottom here. This is an amazingly strong trend. You see it's majorly oversold on the RSI, majorly oversold on the MACD. The MACD just crossed. The volume is now bouncing off of a low. This is, I believe, a 6-year low on the volume, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, going all the way back to May 2013, we haven't seen volume this low. And we are now up 15% on Tesla. UWT, this is the ETF that's tied to crude oil. We saw that it broke the regression trend violently, came back down, and is forming this double bottom at around the range that it saw back in December when it hit a low, and that is now bouncing off of this, oversold on the RSI. The volume is bouncing a bit, and the MACD is starting to curl upwards again. So this is a point that I would start scaling in, and we did start scaling in UWT, and the price is now, since it bounced, the price is now up around 15%, which is crazy. I mean, these stock market gains sometimes look like crypto gains if there are, strong trends, strong downward trends that are coming up on reversals, as we see here on potentially on UWT and Tesla. Speaking of the market as a whole, if we take a look at the indices, you'll see that the Dow is up 1.25%, S&P 1.33%, NASDAQ almost up 2%. Now the market ebbs and flows, right? This is, to me, this is expected after 4 weeks of a down market. And some markets even hit a bear market, like the crude oil definitely hit a bear market recently. But if you were reading the market news and you saw that there was disappointing jobs report, you're probably wondering why the hell did the markets as a whole jump? Well, it's because the market is hoping for a Fed rate cut. Now, what happens when the Fed rate is cut? Well, that is meant to propel spending, right? And for two main reasons. One is because it allows people to borrow money cheaply, right? If the interest rates are cut, that allows people to borrow money at a cheaper rate. Hence, people will have more liquidity. And the second reason is because people will be less inclined to keep their money in, say, a savings account because they're not getting shit back because the interest rates are now cut. Well, and a third point is that, large purchases such as houses and whatnot, if the interest rates are low, then people are more inclined to spend on those things. So, when a Fed rate is cut, then essentially that is an attempt to fuel spending in the economy, which is why the markets might perceive that as, at least in the short term, as a bullish thing. And lastly, I'll close out with this article. You see that value stocks are trading at the steepest discount in history. This tries to measure the spread between growth stocks and value stocks. And this spread is the largest that it's been since 2000, as you could see on this graph. In a nutshell, what that means is that there are a lot of discounted stocks at the moment. And when Uncle Warren is buying, that's when I'm buying as well. So the market for growth stocks is definitely appealing. And with that, I will say, keep your eyes peeled for the trade alerts. The diamond traders and above level also get stock alerts and are automatically entered into the 0.03 Bitcoin drawing that we do every month. That's less than a cup of coffee a week, and you get tremendous value for that. So join our community, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have a question or a comment or just feel like being an asshole, leave that in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up. I was just kidding about that asshole comment. Hit that thumbs up. Stay safe out there. Peace.